realised that members, quite a few members, may be slightly isolated by COVID. So we did organise virtual meetings where people could come in and at least they had some kind of contact with other people.
An Alzheimer's garden meeting, and it was so good to see somebody again. And we thought it's a pity Ellen can't get here because she hasn't got transport. Peter was always the driver. And put it to Ellen, if she would hostess, we could go to her and distance.
Well, at that particular time, if you remember, even your family, they weren't allowed to come into your house. And it was as soon as they announced that you could meet people, but you had to be at least 2 metres distant. That was it. And we had a couple to a close polls were actually more than 2 metres apart.
Well, when we got to a stage where we were allowed out, but we weren't allowed to meet, mix in houses and stuff like that, there was about 5 of us went down at different times. There was quite a lot of work needing done. There was a lot of bushes that had overgrown. We painted all the fence round about, done a lot of weeding, planted some daffodils.
In connection with the Highland Mary Monument, I was also doing the research for the board, getting photographs from the internet and writing it. Felt I had something to show for it.
And we each had a husband with Alzheimer's, and we could swap notes, and the men were great. I mean, at that time, we're talking, they were much more with it then.
That's when I noticed the biggest deterioration, because they were so used to this structure and meeting all these other people every week, and we were down to nobody. You began to feel quite isolated.
But it was nice to get out and just be doing something, keeping yourself busy rather than sitting in the house, watching a television.
When this little meeting with us started, it was a godsend, because I felt that it, not so much for Peter, it kept me sane, because when you were locked up 24 hours a day on your own with someone suffering from Alzheimer's, it's very difficult.
They'll talk about this mental health thing, but it just made you feel better, and it really did. It was a lot good just being able to get out and do something and feel as if you've achieved something.
Because we had to use different IT methods to communicate, I think people are a little bit more IT literate in the club now. I don't know how anybody else feels about this. I kind of feel I've lost like 2 years from my life somewhere along the line. Do you know what I mean? So I get the years mixed up now because these 2 years are gone.